Well, hello everyone. Time to do a quick update because I'm going to bury some things that we'll never get to again, probably, hopefully. So I've started cutting up the foam panels and installing those. I've gotten the landing in. Love the way it feels, and they're so light. And this deck is in place. Electrical compartment there is still exposed. I'll cut that piece when I'm all done putting the two side panels in. Showers in, and it's, I can't believe how rigid this stuff is. This one's not attached, I just set it in. I'll pick it up, put a layer of construction adhesive around the perimeter, and then anchor it. And the side walls will come down on top of the anchors, and it'll just get caulked in and sealed off, and I'll put a drain in the middle. I got the gray water tank in. Just got done putting a brace to keep these walls from trying to flare out when you put weight on it. And it's just gray water. We're not doing a black water tank. And it's piped over to this area for the kitchen sink, and then piped through that hole right there for the bathroom sink. And then the third pipe is for the shower. So things will be able to either drain into that or drain into a bucket. If it's a dead of winter and real cold outside, we'll do a maybe drain inside into a bucket, maybe just outside into a bucket that you're gonna have to go dump right away before it turns into an ice cube. But I'm not gonna try and heat that tank. So that's where we're at there. I've gotten there's plywood underneath that paper to protect it, so it's aluminum sheeting on the bottom and then plywood, because we'll be throwing gear in there. Got the doors installed, some braces in for supporting the bed deck when it goes on, and these doors are just spring-loaded hinges. I just cut the body with a body saw, and it doesn't fit perfect. I mean, I have to pull this in a little bit to make it flush on the outside. I'll show you, but I'm going to rely on the latch to do that part. I cut that door first, kind of see how it would go, and then made a little bit bigger one on this side. They ran out of hinges, and Home Depot is not going to have any for, they couldn't say when. So I got these at a local fixture shop. They don't have the soft little damper in there. And again, this one's going to rely on the latch to finish closing it, because the springs don't quite cut it. But that turned out pretty good. You'll have a good access to this area. You'll be able to get to all this crap in the future if you ever had to. So I think the deck's pretty close to being, I mean, this area is ready to put this deck on. I was going to start spray foaming and do get some practice doing it on the lower section, and then put all the decking in. And because once the deck's in, I won't be able to get to it. So kind of figure out how to do the spray foam, make it turn out the way I want it to. But I have 1 month. Once I crack the tanks and start spraying the stuff, I have 1 month to finish. And I think I think I can get pretty close to foaming the whole rig with the tanks I've got. So I want to get much more prepared so that I can do the low end like I want, throw the decks in, put some paper over the top of them, and have all the prep work up here done, so I can kind of jump right into spraying the sidewalls. So kind of going to be moving into doing some work up top, like changing out the vents, plugging holes, moving things around. So I'll have to do that, and running conduit for the wiring. So I'll have to do that first, and then I'll spray foam the low half and put the foam decks in. I'm kind of trying to get the foam, the panel was out in front of my shop taking up a ton of space, so I wanted to get it out of the way, get the pieces in. I wanted to make some progress too that you could see, because it's kind of sucks not being able to see much work getting done. Got new seats from the wrecking yard. They're much lighter. They're manual. So now I don't have to worry about wiring up the old Volvo seats. And although it was cool, I'd have heat and all that, and power, and they're heavy, ridiculously heavy. And these things are light. And they're really comfortable. The Volvo seats were comfortable too, but those are better. So I got some adapters put into place to hold them down and modified the tracks a little bit to mount them here. And that part's fine. I got to jump back up front here pretty soon, but I'm going to get the deck down. And oh, mirrors. Because one of the other things before I spray foam is the mirrors. So they're going to go there, of course. And so I bought just some flat 1-inch thick aluminum plate and set it up in the milling machine and like this, and then just hogged it like that so it's flat. And then I had to hand grind the curve into it. You can see it's got a curve so that it would fit right. And now this gets attached to the rig and into the framing rather than the sheet metal body like the old ones were. And then the mirrors get attached to this. And so this will, just bolt in like that. Not bad finish for all done by hand. I did it on just a hand mill at work. We just had a hand mill, and then squared it on the disc sander, and then that's bright, sorry. And then just use this as a guide to keep it flat and put the brushed finish in it. Turned out nice. I think it's going to corrode, so who knows how long it'll look nice, but it looks nice right now. So here's an example of the foam panel. This will be the kind of the middle aisle there. And the way I did this and the way you attach it. So what I do is I run a little hand saw, and I mark the end of it so I know how deep to go. And I just remove the foam right up against this layer of honeycomb and make a little trough. And then I pound in a however big I need, strip of aluminum. So I just long strip and just pound it in there. And then when I rivet, I put this on. And when I rivet, I'm riveting to the aluminum and not this honeycomb stuff. It would just break. So that's how that stuff works. And then, of course, there's options. You can hog out a little bit of the foam, do a channel like this, but then make the channel be the parts that go inside, and then put big washers on your rivets and just have rivets and connect it. And then maybe epoxy fill the kind of the edge here on this honeycomb to make it strong. Or you can attach to that aluminum, which is what I'm going to do on this, I think, is when I put the trim board on this edge, it'll attach to the aluminum plate that's in here, and it'll be riveted there. So that's how that'll work. And then once that edge is all cleaned up, I can do that panel, this panel. And I think I'm just going to have the back edge, which is going to protect the foam from the heat from the engine. So it'll get a sheet metal skin. It'll also probably come up and be the connection point for the cover that's going to cover all that. And then it'll be a hook. So you'll slide it forward, pull it this way, and it'll hook this, because this is just 1/8 inch angle. So this is the 1/8 inch thick part of an angle. So it'll just hook like that, and that'll suck it down. I'll put weather strip on there, suck it down, and then I'll have something solid here, maybe in the middle, depending on how rigid it is. And it'll be like the latches for a Jeep hood or whatever to just hold it down. I'll have to add some. I ran out of aluminum angles, so I'll have to go get some more. So this will get an aluminum angle stuck to it, be a little shelf here, so that this panel has something to rest on. I have to cut my door in that for access to the underneath area for storage. I'm going to practice that on a scrap. I've thought about beveling the hatch. So if I cut through a little bit of an angle with the saw, and then the hatch comes out, it can't fall through. I'll fiberglass the edges. So on that kind of a situation, I think I would just re-fiberglass the edges of everything and clean it up. And then I think it would just sit in there. You might need to do a ledge on the bottom so it can't get in there cockeyed, but I think that might work. And that might be the simplest, easiest way to do it. And then maybe do a center latch that you turn, some rods go out, and lock it down to the panel. So I'll practice on some scrap and we'll see how that goes. I'll show you the outside here. Ended up with a lot of rivets to do this little task, but no, it'll work. And then the weather stripping will go in here, and sand kind of get wedged in between this material. That's how that works. And this one will be the same way. And I'll foam this in to make it a little bit more rigid because it's pretty flimsy. So we'll see how the foam does. So that's it. Thanks. Bye.